Gabit Media.
This video series is looking at the question, does the mass media affect the audience? In this episode we're looking at uses and gratifications theory. Uses and gratifications theory looks at the audience as an active audience. In other words, it's not really looking at the question of how the mass media affects us, more how the audience reacts to the mass media. It assumes that the audience chooses the media it wants to watch for different reasons. Uses and gratifications can be summarised by saying that we watch the media for 5 different reasons. The first reason is to be informed and educated. We often use the media to be informed through programmes like the news. We can also be educated through a variety of programmes like documentaries. It doesn't just have to be these genres, any mass media can inform or educate us.
Shut your mouth!
Really? Okay, now. Come on then.
Yeah?
Come on in, you skanky git. Do you like her, mate?
Yeah, maybe not all.
Why are you here?
I wanted to be a singer ever since I was a little girl, and I
Yes.
just love to be able to achieve my ambition today.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I'm being a bit unfair on television, but many people feel that television is dumbing down. In other words, it's not educating or informing us enough. Instead, it's just entertaining us in a bid to get more viewers. I personally would never stoop that low. Here's a clip of someone getting kicked in the face with a football. This brings me nicely on to the second reason why people watch the mass media: to be entertained. Obviously, we all like to be entertained by the mass media. It could make us laugh, cry, or maybe think deeply. The third reason is identity. We might identify with certain characters. The term role models has been around for ages, and we might look up to characters or people on television. It's generally accepted by psychologists that we learn from the people around us. It could be your friends, neighbours, family, teachers, and so on. So if we watch a lot of television, do we learn and mimic behaviours we see there? This can take many forms. You don't necessarily copy a character completely, but you might see character traits that you like or identify with and copy those. I always wanted to be just like Bruce Lee when I was younger. Okay, I still want to be like Bruce Lee. I actually want to be like Jean-Claude Van Damme as well, but I've grown out of that. It can also reinforce personality traits, so if you look up to someone that you see on TV, they act in a certain way, you might mimic that and feel justified in doing so. People have used this idea of gaining identity through television to suggest that the music industry might have a negative effect on young people. Other people are concerned about violence on television, and we might learn violent behaviours through watching TV. Others are concerned with the fashion industry and its effect on body image in young women. This is a big subject, and I'm hoping to cover this in other videos. Hopefully there'll be a link somewhere around here. Next comes integration and social interaction. This is the idea that people take the programmes they see and then chat about them later. You can probably see that's a bit like reception theory. Click on the link if you want to find out more about that. Within this section there's also an idea of imagined community. It's the idea that you might feel like when you're watching something, you're watching it with loads of other people, even if they're not sitting right next to you. Reality TV often tries to heighten this experience with phone-ins or backstage shows. And the fifth reason we watch the mass media is for escapism. Adventure films or computer games often have a great deal of escapism, and you can escape into someone else's life and be someone else for maybe an hour or so. So that's a simplified look at uses and gratifications. The main point being that the audience is active and they choose the mass media that they watch for different reasons. As with all these theories, it has been criticised and developed. People have raised the idea that it suggests that we get all our needs from television in some way, but actually we get our needs from our family and friends, and we learn our behaviours from them as well. It also doesn't offer a lot of insight into how we decode that media text. Also, a lot of research into this happened before the social media boom. Research into uses and gratifications has been developed to take into account social media such as Facebook or even mobile phones. Some people have said it goes a bit further and that we might have media dependency. That's something we might all suffer from. Try giving up media for one day. One thing that's worth considering here is how these theories all link together. So if a certain person watches the same news programme to be informed, we could link in cultivation theory into this, especially if that program is backing up and reinforcing their opinions. If we are learning from programs and they are affecting us, maybe making us violent in some way, that could link to the hypodermic needle model. The social interaction aspect could link to the two-step flow theory or even reception theory. So by combining all these theories, you can start to get an idea of how the mass media may influence us or how we react to the mass media. So here's all those links again in case you wanted to go back over and have a look at the different theories. I hope you got something out of this video series.